Shut your mouth, broadcasting. First round draft pick. Believe we got stats, kid. Quarterback sacking, 100-yard dashing. So tap in for the action. What teams got traction? What teams are losing? Franchises ruined. Fans in the stand booing.
Welcome to the Sim Podcast Show. I'm your co-host, Sarek, and I'm always joined by my co-host, Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis. If this interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button so you know when a new video comes out. Ron, we just had week 16. And as you can see, we're braving the elements.
Yes.
Just to bring you the show because Florida is cold as hell.
It's been freezing these last 3-4 days, and I know I shouldn't complain because it could be worse. We could be living in Buffalo or somewhere up north, but it's been cold, man. For Florida, it's been ridiculous these last few days.
Yeah, it's been really cold, but we are not. The show must go on. So, week 16, Ron. The Steelers won. The Buccaneers won. Patriots fumbled the ball again, literally, figuratively. Ron, what's going on this week? It's almost 2 weeks. We're about to end the season. What's exciting you right now?
What's exciting me right now? I guess the last few playoff races, which I think we'll talk about at the end with these playoff scenarios. I'm excited personally for my team. I'm seeing some growth in the Steelers. Some good things to look forward to for next year. I think this year we have like a 2% chance or something like that to make it. So, but I've seen continual growth from them. So that's what's exciting me for them. Personally.
Personally, I can tell you that nothing is exciting me right now because the Patriots are playing like crap. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the NFL news. We're going to talk about last week's review, and then we're going to talk about our predictions, our upset specials, and then the playoff picture is basically almost in focus. You can almost see it. You can almost taste it. You can almost smell it. So good as playoff time is coming. So let's talk about the NFL news because I wanted to talk about the two franchises that right now that I feel are going downhill, which are the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. So which one is worse? Which one do you think has the highest mountain to climb?
That's a tough question. I think they're both in dire shape. I think what's more embarrassing to me is Denver. What's going on there? You bring in Russell Wilson, spend all that money, and fail like miserably, and he's getting clowned on and off the field. People taking shots at him, not just for his play, but just his personality and everything. You got your head coach fired. They seem to be in shambles. They have like no direction, no leadership. I don't know what's going on there. With Houston, they've been terrible for a while, so this isn't anything new. And despite them losing, they play hard. The last 2 years, they've been playing hard for Lovie Smith. So is that who's there in Houston? I don't even know who's in Houston.
It is Lovie Smith, yeah. But I think, he might be on the way out.
I don't think so.
You think they'll keep him?
Yeah, I mean, what did he have on the team? That would show that they should win more than two games, whatever they've won so far.
Well, it seemed to me like he's like the Denver coach was, at least personnel-wise, was set up for success, right? When you look at Lovie Smith's situation, I don't think he was set up for success. I think that they're dealing and wheeling and they're making the team worse. I feel like when you look at these two franchises, Houston Texans have a bigger mountain to climb because they're getting draft picks. They're playing hard. So what are they missing? What is it they're missing?
Quarterback. That's number one. Weapons, receivers. I can't name. I think Brandon Cooks might be the only receiver I can name on that team. They got a decent running back. He's a rookie, though. And he may have hit the rookie wall. they're young, and it's going to take them a few years, to get a decent roster together. On the other hand, to your point, Denver, we thought had a playoff roster. I think it's actually harder for them, though, because it's not just about X's and O's. It's about changing their culture, their attitude, not having leaders inside the locker room. That's a hard change. I think Houston has a leadership voice, people that they listen to, at least from what I've seen the last couple of years. Like I said, they play hard. With Denver, I don't see it at all. I think you guys see, when I turn their games on, I see them arguing with each other. I see the offensive linemen arguing with Russell Wilson, arguing with the backup quarterbacks. I don't see that in Houston. So I think with Denver, I think you need a complete rebuild. Get rid of some of the, even your top stars, but just start clean from the top down. Just start fresh. That's what I would do.
So all that money that they spend at the offseason, because they got players, they got good players. Denver does. Mm-hmm. So you think they just need a better head coach? Because that Hackett guy was supposed to be like a prodigy.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the head coach. You're stuck with Russell Wilson, who hasn't played well at all. Obviously, that was a mistake, right? I think providing him with that contract and sending your draft picks over to Seattle in return, I think that was a huge mistake, and that's going to set them back for 2, 3, 4 years potentially. But there's no way of getting around that. There's no, trading Russell Wilson. No one's going to take him, right? There's no cutting Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you basically stuck with him for 4 more years.
Right. So, I think the other guys around them, you're going to have to find people that are just going to go in and work hard, regardless of what's happening, regardless of your win, loss and win record. They're going to come out and just play hard. And I don't know if the guys that are on the team now were doing that.
Well, the other thing is that, that Denver Broncos, the Walton owns them, which is, basically the Walmart family. So money is no object to them. They're just going to keep throwing money at the issue, at the problem, whatever it might be. I just don't see, I see like a path for them, but not by acquiring players, not by giving out contracts, but like you say, just changing the culture, just bringing in, because their defense was pretty good and then it started going downhill. And the reason why is because there was so many 3 and outs. I mean, we watched 2 games on primetime. God knows why you put them on primetime. And their offense was terrible.
Well, they were there because the expectation is that they'd be competing for not only the playoffs, but a Super Bowl ring. And we were all fooled. I think everyone was fooled on that. So they're just not a good team. They're not a good coach team. They don't have the leadership that they need. I think Russell Wilson is trying to do his best to be a leader, but they've tuned him out. So
yeah, he was tuned out like week number 2.
Yeah,
when they knew that he couldn't score and for some reason he refuses to use his legs, which was like his go-to out of trouble when he was with the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know why now he just does not want to run with the ball. There's just so many things with his game that you would think that he was playing hurt, but I know he wasn't. So
yeah,
what's going on, Russell Wilson? Let's just move on because I want to talk about Tua. So earlier this week, you sent a group text saying that Tua got snubbed from the Pro Bowl.
He did.
So I want to know. I know we're not Tua fans, so I want to put that out there. But why do you think Tua needs to be on the Pro Bowl?
I'm going to throw out statistics for a second and just talk about fan voting, right? I think it's supposed to make up for like 1/3 of the votes or 2/3. I can't remember exactly what it is. But he led every single player in fan votes. That's number 1. And he didn't make the Pro Bowl. That to me is crazy. And then when you look at his statistics, he's number 1 in terms of like 6 or 7 passing categories. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the AFC, but statistically, he had a great season. I know he missed 2 games this season, but for him not to be in the Pro Bowl, I think is stupid, especially, when you consider the players that were in, not necessarily the quarterback position, but the Pro Bowl voting, I just think is broken. If TJ Watt, for example, could be in the Pro Bowl and he's played, 6 or 7 games, if that much, this year, and he has, I think, 2 sacks all season. If he can be in the Pro Bowl and he's done nothing, then, and Tua gets snubbed, then that to me shows a broken voting system.
But you said statistically he didn't lead Patrick Mahomes on what?
He led him in. I got to look.
Because when I look at the passing yards.
Yeah, you're looking at. So you can look at one statistic like passing yards. No, he's not first, but he was first pass rating, first in passing touchdowns to interception.
No, he only had 25, and Patrick Mahomes is at 37.
What's the interception, though?
11 interceptions, he got 8.
Okay, well, he was passing touchdowns per attempt. He was first. Yards per attempt for quarterbacks, he was first. Yards per completion, he was first.
But that's not what the writers, the journalists, the fans look at. We can look at, well, he was more efficient this year, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't have more yards. He didn't have more touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely had less interceptions, for sure. But,
what do they look at?
If you're a fan, if you're a regular Joe, all you're going to look at is who had the most passing yards? Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not saying Mahomes shouldn't be there. He should be there. He's part of the MVP conversation.
Tua is in the top 10 as far as he's right at number 10. So who got into the Pro Bowl? Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. All these people that have more yards and have more touchdowns. So I'm not saying that he should have gotten in, but there were better players is what I'm saying. There were better players to choose from.
I think all those you mentioned are better players. I think Tua had a better year statistically than some of those players, like Herbert, for example. You can't tell me Herbert statistically had a better year than Tua. He didn't, even with Tua missing those 2 games. And I think I've put Herbert into my top 5 as quarterbacks. But to me, again, just look beyond the quarterback position. Again, I mentioned TJ Watt because that's the Steelers. If he can get in, and not play any games, Highsmith doesn't get in, I think he has like 13 sacks at this point, or 14. The system's broken.
Well, first of all, they don't really play the Pro Bowl. Mm-hmm. That is just a flag football game now, right?
But there's huge incentives towards it, right? There's financial incentives to being included in the Pro Bowl voting.
I just think that, yes, he had an outstanding year, but there were better players there. I don't think the system could be improved, but I think that he's right where he's supposed to be, especially after missing. You say 3 games. I say he missed 2.5 games because he went out on the protocol and never came back against the Bills. Let's talk about the protocol, because now there's a game against the Patriots on Sunday, and it looks like he's not going to start that game. So should he shut it down for the year, or should he just wait for 2 weeks and come back week 18?
He waits 2 weeks, he might be out of the playoffs. That's the problem, right? So they're in a situation where they basically, I think they need to win 1 to get in. They got the Patriots this week. I think they finished with the Jets, I believe. They got to win at least one to get in for sure. I don't know. It's tough because you got to rely on the doctors. You know, if I was his family member, I'd say no. You know, it's you've had 2 serious concussions, and then you know you hit your head again. Like apparently this last game, they didn't catch it during the game, and you're having symptoms again. You definitely shouldn't play this week. That's for sure. But you know, as far as the last game of the season, when they need you, you're hopefully better, healthy, and ready to play. And if they give you the green light that you're able to play, then they got to go with the doctor, whatever the doctors say.
See,
and that's what they'll do.
And you know what? If I was him, I just shut it down for the year. I mean, Waddle's still going to be there. Tyreek Hill's still going to be there. Mike McDaniel's still going to be there. So what's the point? You're going to be a better football player next year, healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the point? So your team doesn't make the playoff. You know what? You already missed 3 games. What does it do if you miss 2 more games? And I'm not just saying this because I want the Patriots to win, but dude, this is your health. Mm-hmm. This is why J.J. Watt is basically calling it quit, because he's like, you know what? I played for this league long enough, and I don't need to prove anybody my point. Tua is young, man. He's super young. So why not just shut it down? What, you think your teammates are going to look at you different? No, they're going to be like, you know what? He's putting up his health first.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but we don't play football, so we don't know what's going on through his head. Like you said, the doctors are going to tell him, they're going to give him their expert advice,
mm-hmm.
and then he's going to decide whether or not he wants to shut it down or come back and play.
So according to this, the Dolphins are 4-8 without Tua lifetime. So that's this year. Last year, they're 4-8 basically without him. So you're taking a chance if he's not on the field, you know. But again, it's not just about winning games. It got to be about his health. The problem I'm having, I guess, is if the doctors clear him, then what do you do? Because, you know, they've cleared him before, and he played and he got re-injured. So, I don't know if he wants to play. You know, he's going to want to play, and the doctors clear him. Like, what can you do? You can't do anything, right? He's going to play. It's his choice.
I mean, it's ultimately comes down to his choice, right? But I feel like the Miami I feel like everyone in the Miami organization, their doctors should like recertify, take the test again, because if you know you got a player that's going through the concussions, you know, protocols, and it happens once, it happened twice, and now this will be the 3rd time in a season that he's got a head injury. Come on, man. Treat him with kid gloves. Be like extra sensitive to this guy's needs. I mean, I don't know. What did you say, Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, he had to this year.
And he came back to play?
Yeah. I mean, they cleared him.
Yeah, he cleared him.
He missed 1 game, and or he missed 2 games because of the concussion. But, you know, they cleared him this week. He came, played, didn't really take any hits this past week. So, got a new helmet. He's using a new helmet. Started this week. So, we'll see how it goes the rest of the way.
See, I think that some people are more sensitive to head injuries than others. And, you know, the NFL, no matter what new technology they come up with, no matter what new program that they say they're gonna follow, blah, 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 it just ends up a big old mess.
It's a dangerous sport at the end of the day. So they know that. The players know that's what they sign up for. So, you know, as I think we meaning the doctors, learn more about brain injuries, I think they'll get better at diagnosing it, and they'll get better at knowing what to do when stuff happens. So, you know, it's just going to take, I think, some more time. But, you know, in the meantime, you know, as it stands right now, they got precaution in to try to protect the players. At the same time, though, if the doctors say they're okay, that's what you're going with.
Okay. Well, let's quickly review week number 16, and let's start with the loser, which of the three, which is the New England Patriots. And Ron, I gotta tell you, I watched this game, and the first half, it was terrible. It was like the Raiders' loss affected them both offensively and defensively. And I don't know, it was like the Bengals were moving the ball at will. They were passing it at will. They were running the ball at will. This was a team that I just don't have any hope on. And that was just the first half. Then in the second half, they made the adjustments. It seemed like a different team. They woke up. Bengals didn't sniff a point after that. But then, with like a minute and a half left, minute 05 left, Stevenson just cuffed out the ball. Game over. Even though we got the ball back with like 25 seconds, but we didn't have any timeout. It was game over. And I think it was it 3.5 or 2.5 that they were favored? Let me just check.
That the Bengals were favored?
Yeah, the Bengals were favored.
Yeah, I don't. So I didn't watch this game at all. I can tell you that I was rooting for Cincinnati for selfish reasons. Obviously, I needed the Patriots to lose or the Steelers to have a better chance of getting in. So when I saw it was 22-0 at half, I was like, okay, this is over. Things are falling into place. Right? We were about to play, I thought, a team that we can beat. Some of the other teams, I think Miami, for example, they lost. So I felt pretty good about the Bengals when, at halftime. Then all of a sudden, I turned the score back on, and you guys are closing in. I'm like, what the heck? Things are going downhill fast. So, I don't know, man. Like, do you want the Patriots remind me of the Steelers last year and a little bit of Steelers this year. Do you want to go into the playoffs? Because you have a legitimate chance of making it with a team, an offense that's struggling so badly.
See,
I don't know.
When I compare the Patriots of the past, the ones that used to win ball games like this, where they would have a terrible first half, but then you would be confident of that. Be like, you know what? Second half, we'll make the adjustments and we'll win it at the end. They made the adjustments. They almost won the game. 105 left with the ball inside the 10. You just say it's just a matter of punching it in.
Yeah.
But that confidence is not there anymore, and it has to. I know it has to do with Brady not being there. You don't know what you're getting out of this offense. So this is why I get really upset when I see people saying, "Fire Bill Belichick. He's had it." Players are not listening to him. The players are listening because obviously you can see you shut down the Bengals, which I think they won 5 in a row, 6 in a row now. So they are listening to him. It's just that he's not the offensive creative mind. That's just not him. He'll shut down the other team star receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hopkins had a terrible game. Devontae Adams had a terrible game. I don't know how I think Jamar Chase fumbled the ball at one point, so he didn't have a good game. So yes, Bill Belichick will shut down the best player on that team. But on the other side, the offense is just stale. It just won't do anything.
Yeah.
So, no, definitely going forward, you need to keep Bill Belichick, but you need to get Matt Patricia out of there.
Yeah. I think the Steelers are in the same boat. Defensively, we're okay. We're fine there. I think that's probably where Tomlin sees it best. Offensively, though, it's been a struggle all year. And then, for both of these teams, we're going to have to make decisions this offseason. Do we keep Patricia? Do we keep Matt Canada? Or do we go searching for better coordinators? Whether it's someone at the college level, or just anyone in the NFL that can be better for our young quarterbacks, right? Max going into his third year next year. Kenny's going to be in his second year next year. So it's I think it's crucial for both of our teams to find that right direction, because you don't want to end up like some of these quarterbacks who are drafted with a lot of talent and they have coaches and coordinators that bounce around, and then it just stops their development and they never turn out. They never see their potential. You don't want that to happen. So they got to figure out who that coordinator is going to be. But I don't think it's Patricia or Canada for either of our teams.
Yeah, I agree. All right. The next game, Pittsburgh, or better yet, Las Vegas at Pittsburgh. Ron, this game was on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it together. I know you were hosting, but we were watching this game. Are you fully in the Pickett band now? You're like a player. You're like, I'm fully in.
You know, I've been in since he was at Pitt. I'm all in. I'm not one of these Kenny Pickett, does every single thing right and is a future Hall of Famer. But I think we found our franchise quarterback. I've thought that day one when we drafted him. I thought, he didn't play that great. He missed some throws for sure. The one interception he threw was costly. But when it mattered at the end, he led the team down into a winning touchdown. So I'm sold. I've been sold on Kenny. I think, saying before, we got to figure out who the coordinator is going to be long term, and he needs to continue growing. I need to see growth from him every game, especially when we get to next year. I'm expecting a big jump.
Now, when I was watching that game, it looked like the Raiders wanted to lose this game bad. I mean, how many chances can you... First of all, Derek Carr played a horrible game. Horrible game.
I don't think he was that bad.
You want him on your team? You trade him for Pickett?
I wouldn't. No,
exactly.
No.
He played
not trading him for
terrible
Pickett.
game. Terrible game.
The two of the interceptions, I don't think were his fault. They came right off the receiver's hands.
But the thing is this, almost every game he turns the ball over. So are you just going to be that quarterback that always has a turnover no matter what? Even when, there's, because I think people overestimate Derek Carr and they say, well, he's a comeback quarterback and he does all this and blah, blah, blah. But, he had 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a good game, Ron.
Yeah, I'm not saying he had a great game. I just think
174 yards passing. That is not a good game.
No, it's not. But listen, I got to give the Steelers defense some credit. They stopped the run game. They did really good against Jacobs, held him to under 3 yards per carry. And they did a good job. I think we got lucky, to be honest with you. Some of that last interception, for example, that he threw, and it was a bad throw. That one was a huge one, but I think I forgot who it was that was running wide open when he missed him over the middle of the field. So it was Renfro. We were getting lucky to a certain extent for sure. He was just slightly off, and the receivers didn't help him at all by dropping some of those passes.
The receivers, I don't know. I mean, you have good receivers. Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, Devontae Adams. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame receiver right there. You mean to tell me you can't get clean targets on these guys? These guys, very rarely will they drop the ball. Devontae Adams, I mean, anywhere you throw the ball, he's going to get it. So it's not even... I don't know. I mean, I know he's going to be there next year because he's on the contract, but I would just chuck him. Yep, I would just chuck him. If I was Josh McDaniels...
They're the two of them are best friends, so there's a reason why Adams went there, right? They played together in college. They're really, really good friends.
Well, the reason was money. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're close. They're close friends.
Aaron Rodgers has like
anywhere.
$50 million.
You don't think Adams could have went somewhere else and got paid as much as he did?
I don't think he was going to get the same money at Aaron Rodgers' money there in Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't think they would have paid him, no.
Yeah, so he went with the money is, and I think the fact that he had a college roommate there, obviously that helped a lot. But obviously, they're not connecting. 6-9 record. I bet you he's looking back and going, I should have just taken less at Green Bay and see what happened. Because if you look at Green Bay's record, and we're going to get to Green Bay because they might sneak in the playoff picture. I would have kept Green Bay, then got to this horrible mess that is the Raiders, right?
But, yeah, and you know, I don't know what to say about the Raiders. I expected them to play better.
We both didn't pick them to win, so
no, but I'm talking about on the season. I expected them to be better than 6-9 at this point. I thought I expected them to be close to a 500, a little bit better than a 500 team. But they've underperformed at the end of the day. There's no getting around that. They've underperformed. Now, they had been missing Renfro and Waller for a while, but that's no excuse. Even the games that they've played offensively, they haven't been able to do anything at all. So,
I mean, you have a running back like Josh Jacobs. You should be winning more games.
Leads the league in rushing.
So you mean to tell me, and this is not even a theory anymore, it's turning into a hypothesis now. If you're a first-year coach, you're not going to do well. Well, except for your name is Doug Peterson, because obviously that he might win out that division because Tennessee Titans terrible. But I mean, I like Josh McDaniels, and I think that he's gonna be there next year. That he's not gonna get fired. I know a lot of Raiders fans are like, we want him gone, but he's not gonna get fired.
Yeah, he's not going.
And there's rumors that the Las Vegas Raiders don't have the cash flow to just get rid of people nilly-willy. Like, oh, I don't like the way you're performing. You're getting cut because Josh McDaniels on the contract. They're not gonna just pay him the next 2 years not to coach the Raiders.
Yeah. And I don't think McDaniels is the issue, to be honest with you. I think there's some other guys that they need to take a look at to see if it's worth keeping them. They need to figure out what to do with their defense, too. Defense hasn't played well. I think Jacobs, they're probably going to end up losing him. I think his contract's up this year. They didn't re-sign him or pick up his option. So they're probably going to end up losing him. They're going to have to figure that piece out too. But I don't know what to say with the Raiders. They've underperformed. They should be a better team with the guys that they have, the talent that they have, but they're not. The Steelers beat them. Steelers probably don't have as much talent as as the Raiders do, and we figured out a way to beat them.
All right, so let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because we both picked the Buccaneers to win, but we actually thought that they would score more points than just 19 points. I had them under that at 17-13, so I was closer, but why did it go into overtime? I mean, both teams was 6-6 at halftime. 6-6. That's not even. It wasn't Colt McCoy playing. It was like some other dude, McSorley, and you're like struggling with the Cardinals to score points.
Well, Tampa's defense played well, but their offense has been an issue all year long. It has not changed and will not change. The offense has been an issue. Even Fournette doesn't look the same to me anymore. He looks like a step slower. Tom does not look good at all. He's missed some, easy throws. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. The offense seems to be the issue there, and it'll continue to be that way.
This is terrible because if you're struggling to score points against Arizona, who has a terrible defense, and they didn't even get a sack. They didn't register a sack, but if you look at the highlights, you would think like whoa, Arizona is just controlling this game. No, Tom Brady is just terrible.
He's terrible.
He's terrible.
There's only I realized is at one point I think he was like checking down almost every play. Every play he was checking it down to one of the running backs or checking it under, like a short slant pass or something like that. That's about all he can do. And then an occasional, deep pass he might be able to hit, but his game has finally, it's gone. He's lost his game at this point. And, I think it's time for him to step away after this season.
Yeah, and I think, did he sign an extension or no? No, I think this is last year. So we'll see what happens with Tom Brady and this terrible Buccaneers offense that they can't score any points whatsoever. None at all. Okay, so let's quickly go over the upset special, because your upset special, remember you had Atlanta, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta beating the Baltimore Ravens, and then the final score was 9-17. So what happened with Atlanta?
I don't know. I didn't watch any of this game, to be honest with you. I was hoping, or I was expecting, Ritter to kind of take another step forward. I don't know how well he played. I think part of me was hoping the Ravens would lose, but that just didn't happen.
And I said, you know what? I know that Atlanta wants to win this division bad, but they don't. For some reason, their coach doesn't want their defense or their offense or their weapons, or he has no creativity. If you know your two best offensive players are down, you know what? Mix it up. Just go on fourth and down. Do a Brandon Staley and just don't give an F about what you're doing. But he's like playing it like he's got like a 2 touchdown lead every game, and I'm just like, dude, why are you playing it like that?
33 carries. That's including 4 from Desmond Ritter. 33 pass attempts. So it was a fairly balanced game plan, but they're a team that needs to run a little bit more, I think. And Huntley, I'm looking at his number. He didn't play well, 9-17, and with a touchdown. Only 115 yards himself. Defensively, they gave up some big runs. That's what it's looking like, and that was the difference in the game. Baltimore was able to get those big runs, big plays, and Atlanta wasn't. And that was the difference.
The other upset special is I picked the Eagles to beat the Cowboys because I wanted to prove that Jalen Hurts is overrated. And this was a high scoring game.
Yeah, it was.
And they actually had the lead at halftime. It was 20-17. But Minshew, what can you say about Minshew?
He's a starter in the league.
350 yards passing, 2 TDs. Yes, he turned it over twice, but give this guy a starting gig already.
Yeah, he deserves to start.
He deserves to start somewhere. Yes, the Eagles didn't run the ball because Dallas has a good defense, but 34-40 is a high scoring game.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, more worried now than I was before about the Eagles. They're still going to be my team to make the Super Bowl, but you're giving up 40 points. I don't care if Hurts is not playing. There's no excuse for giving up 40 points against Dallas. They got to fix that before the playoffs start. So the defense has to perform better if they're going to make a run all the way to the Super Bowl. As far as Dallas, I think I've known that team is capable of putting some points up. And it looks like they were able to. It's a divisional game. There's no surprise, when these teams go against each other. So, Dallas sitting there now with 11 wins, right? They're 11-4. They're a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, and I can't wait until they go on the road and beat the hell out of Tampa And then finally, we can talk about the culinary death that Tom Brady's season is.
That's assuming Tampa gets in.
That's assuming Tampa gets in, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But let's jump into Week 17 because there's only 2 games left, and now it's where the race for at least for all 3 teams actually, because they all need to win all out. So let's start with the first game. Miami at New England. 2.5 Miami's favorites, 42 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
New England's favorite, right? Not Miami.
New England favorite, sorry, by 2.5.
I got Patriots winning this. I'm assuming Tua is not playing. I think the defense is still good enough to win the game. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I got 17-13 Patriots winning in New England.
I'd given up on this team 2 weeks ago when that horrible play in the Raiders. And then Cincinnati again with another horrible play. And I feel like this time is going to be another horrible play. It's going to be up to the kickers. I just don't see the offense doing anything. And I think Miami's going to win 13-10. And it might even be lower than that because neither team is going to score that many points. Assuming that Tua doesn't play this game. Assuming that his health comes first.
Yeah.
And not the team winning percentage. So I just don't see New England pulling this off. And they need to beat Miami and they need to beat Buffalo to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Who did you say Miami's quarterback is?
Thompson. Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson. That's right.
So I see a lot of Munster in this game. And I see a lot of short passes to the tight end. I doubt they'll go deep to Tyreek Hill because, those are the kind of plays that Bill Belichick doesn't give up. So I just see a very low scoring game. The next game is Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore is favored by 3. Over and under 36 points. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, so potential return of Lamar Jackson here. When we played Baltimore last time, Trubisky was the starter, threw 3 interceptions. So Kenny's playing this one. I am a little bit worried. I think Baltimore should be favored, but I have Pittsburgh pulling up the upset and winning 20-17.
Yeah, I also see Pittsburgh pulling the upset, winning 24-17. I think that it might be closer than that. It might be like you said, a field goal. Might be like a 17-14 type of deal. But I do see Pittsburgh winning this game. And we'll talk about the playoff picture because I think there's so many things that have to happen for Pittsburgh to get in, right?
Yeah, so this game got flexed to the night game.
Sunday night.
So we'll know by the time the game starts if Pittsburgh's still in it because they need the Dolphins to lose. So they need the Patriots to beat the Dolphins. And they also need the Jets to lose, I believe. So, if either of those teams win, then their season's over.
And who are the Jets playing this week?
Let me take a look. Let's see. Seahawks.
Okay, so that they're playing the Seahawks in Seattle, and right now they're favored by 2 points. So yeah, a lot of things have to go your way.
Yeah, 2% chance.
2% chance. Well, at least it's a chance, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. The next game, it's Carolina at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is favored by 3 points, 39 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm looking at this now. I'm like, why did I go with such a high score? But I had 24-18 written down. This is a huge game. Tampa wins that, and they're in. They've clinched. So Carolina's going to come out and play hard for sure, but Tampa's defense has been clicking the last like 5 or 6 games. And I think it's going to Tampa, if they can just muster some points offensively, they'll be able to hold off Carolina towards the end. So I got the Bucks winning 24-18.
You know, I got the Bucks winning, but I'm doing an in-show change of my final score. I had them winning 24-21, but you're right. This offense is pitiful. Pitiful. So they're still going to win, but it's going to be a 13-10 victory. I'm going
like really low.
I'm going super low. I feel like so confident that Tom Brady needs to retire that I'm going low on the score.
Okay.
Your upset special round. The LA Rams at the LA Chargers. They play the same field. I don't know why this will be a home field advantage, but the Chargers are favored by 6.5. It's 41 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I got the Rams winning 23-20. Baker Mayfield's actually playing pretty well. He's this will be, I think, his 3rd week now in that offense. So, you know, Chargers, they won and they clinched, but they didn't. To me, they didn't look that impressive. Their defense did this past week, but offensively, I wasn't really impressed with their win this week. So I got the Rams pulling off an upset.
I watched that game against the Colts. It was the Sunday night or Monday night?
Monday night.
Last night, because we do it on Tuesday night. And they acted like it was like, I know that they clinched a playoff berth, but they acted like they won the Super Bowl. The team was hugging each other. They were like patting each other on the back.
It's been a struggle for them. You know, they've been bounced out at the end of the, each season they've been bounced out of the, playoff for making the playoffs just because of horrible coaching at the end. But listen, I had said, I think last year I said the Chargers like 2 or 3 years away. Well, this is year number 2. They're in the playoffs. I don't see them making a run in the playoffs or anything. I still think they got like another year before they can do that. But they're heading in the right direction.
Well, this is also my upset special because I just don't feel like, I feel like they celebrated so hard last night that the Rams are going to come in and beat them and just be like, you need to like be on guard 24/7 week after week. It's not just 1 week. And I think this might be Justin Herbert first time in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So they just made it into the big deal. Like, and I know, like, act like you've been there before. And I know he hasn't been there before. But you didn't even win the division. You're basically squeaking in. You should just shake hands with everybody and just leave the field. And the fact that I saw that with my eyes, I'm like, yeah, you're right. This team is definitely not ready. But, I think that by them winning last night saved the head coach job because he surely was going to get fired if he didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 9-6. They would have been 8-7 again, basically. So, yeah, they can't just be around 500. They gotta get over the hump. And it looks like they may start to do that if they can win out these next couple of games. But I got the Rams pulling off an upset here.
So I got the Rams pulling up the upset to 28-24. So let's talk about the playoff picture because now it's really coming into focus. And all I want to say with the Patriots is that for them to get in for sure, I feel like I've said that for the last 2 weeks, but they need to beat Miami and they need to beat Buffalo, which means if they beat Buffalo falls to the number 2 spot because the Chiefs, the next 2 games are basically cupcake games. So that means that they have to beat Buffalo and then the next week they play in Buffalo. So it's almost like a replay of last year. Except without the week in between. So it's like, yes, you can beat these 2 games, but then you're gonna get Buffalo again.
Yeah.
So what? It's almost like it's almost like God, the football gods are saying, you know what?
So
we're
listen.
gonna treat you something really nice.
You're gonna get Tua-less Dolphins, assuming Tua does not play, and you may get a half out of Josh Allen because they've already clinched. They really got, other than like home field, like, you know, there's really not much for Bills to play for week 18. So,
Well, it depends. It depends because the Bills and the Chiefs have the same record right now.
mhm.
So if the Chiefs lose next week and the Bills win, obviously there's no point in them, you know, having to do rigmarole like. But if the Chiefs win and they won that bye, they're gonna go all out week 18. So it's like you're damn if you do, you damn. It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
A catch-22. Yeah, so it's a catch-22. I don't know what to tell you. This is why you play the games, right?
So what do you think your chances are? How confident are you feeling?
0. Our chances are 0.
I mean, you have chance, right? You can beat Miami, and depending on who's playing, you could beat Buffalo.
I mean, maybe mathematically, yes, but
On a scale
it's
of 1
like,
to 10, how confident are you?
I just looked at who. Guess who the Chiefs play next week? The Broncos. I'm telling you, this is how it was meant to be.
So you got the Patriots losing both games then.
They have. I mean, if they win out, and obviously the Chiefs are gonna win out. I just don't see Buffalo laying down. They won that bye week. They won that bye week so bad, and I don't. Who is Buffalo playing this week? Let me just quickly look out down. Oh, they're playing Cincinnati on a Monday night, right? Monday night, yeah. So this is a tough game.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is this, and this is, I don't know if this will happen. Can the Bengals beat the Bills? That's what it comes down to. Because if the Bengals beat the Bills, then the Chiefs are gonna get that number 1 seed. Even if they take that week 18 off, they know they're gonna beat the Patriots because they're gonna get them in the first round. So it's just a repeat of last year. And last year, at least we had Josh McDaniels on the team. This year we have Matt Patricia. Oh God, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen in that game? So it's like last year you got embarrassed. Wow, what's gonna happen this year? Who knows?
Yeah.
So that's that. And with the Bucks, what needs to happen for the Bucks to get in?
They just got to win. They got to win this 1 week right here, Carolina. They win and they clinch. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what happens if they lose. I assume they'll need to win the end of that last game if they end up losing this week against Carolina. But if they win this week, they're in.
So, do we trust Brady to win this game? Yes.
Yes.
So we
do.
picked them. We picked them, even though it's going to be a low-scoring game. We picked them to win. So yes. So and and we talked about this with the Steelers. You need Miami to lose, and who else?
So
the Jets to lose, right?
Yeah. So I need Miami not just to lose this week. Then I need them to lose the following week as well.
And I think they play the Jets the following week.
Right. So, and that's the tricky part because I need the Patriots to win this week against them. Then I need the Jets to win the following week. But then I need the Jets to lose. Right. So Jets have to lose against Seattle, or the season's over. So if they beat Seattle, we're not gonna make it, because even if they lose against Miami, that means Miami is gonna have 1 game on them, and we're not gonna be able to get that 7th spot. So a lot of help needed. Dolphins has to lose out, and Jets have to win 1 out of 2. Patriots have to win 1 out of 2, and it has to be the right game. So that's what needs to happen for us to get in.
So I wanted to ask you this question. So do you think either the Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers get in? Or do you think Seattle Seahawks get in?
Let's see who they have left. So right now, as far as record, Detroit 7-8, Green Bay 7-8, and where's Seattle sitting at? They're also at 7-8. Let me look at the playoff picture real quick. For the NFC, you got neither of these teams are really in it, right? So, well, they're in it, but they're looking up right now. The Commanders at 7-1. That one tie is got the Commanders in. So, if I pull up the Commanders' schedule, they control their own destiny at this point, right? They got the Browns and the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys really may not have much to play for that last game of the season. And the Browns, they're still the Browns. I think the Commanders are going to hold off and hold on to that 7th spot.
Hold on to that 7th spot?
Yeah, and then, I think Detroit.
What about New York? New York Giants.
Giants are in.
They're in the 6th spot, but the 2 remaining games, I mean, it's not cupcakes.
Yeah, so they're 8. Well, I mean, what do they just need to win 1? I assume
they're at 8. They do play the Colts. I'm sorry, I'll rephrase myself. 1 game is tough game, which is the Eagles, right?
Yeah, so they got the Colts and Eagles. They just need to win 1.
Yeah,
and they're in. So they beat the Colts this week. They're in.
Wow, and that will be the season where we thought.
I don't. Can you believe this? The Giants will be in the damn playoffs, but our teams might not.
I gave them 4 wins.
What'd I give them?
I think you were more lenient. I think you went to 6.
I don't know, because they fooled me last year, so I think I punished them this year. I said I wasn't going to get fooled again. So, no, you're right. I did give them 6 wins.
Yeah, you were more lenient. I just didn't think they had it, but their schedule was easy. I was just not, it was weird because I think, is Brian Daboll going to get Coach of the Year?
Maybe. I'm trying to think who else in the NFC would get it.
I mean, the Eagles coach. I mean, I want to say the Eagles coach might get it, but that team is so stacked.
Yeah, but only 2 losses, maybe 3 by the time the season's over. Vikings. Who's the Vikings coach?
Kevin O'Connell. I think that's his first year too. Doug Peterson, does he get it if they win the division? If the Jaguars win out?
I think I had him as my coach of the year, right? Initially, let me go back and look at my 2022 prediction. Coach of the year. I had Doug Peterson.
Yeah, you had him.
Yeah. You had Brandon Staley.
He's definitely not going
to. Listen, if the Jags hold on and get in the playoffs, considering how many games did they win last year? 1 or 2?
Maybe 2.
Yeah. Give it to Peterson. I thought they would be, honestly. Remember, I told you I thought they'd be in the playoffs. I expected them to be like 9-8 or
more dominant.
Yeah, a little bit more dominant than they have been, but they're here. So, what's a team? I think this is a team that needed a culture change. We were talking about Houston and Denver. Not so much Houston, but Denver needing a culture change. Basically the same thing, And the Jags were able to do it in one season, and with good picks too. So it's not like they didn't have good draft picks. They had they hit on their draft picks too, and their free agents.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting week 17 and week 18 because, who knows who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. I feel like this is what the NFL loves, is to have, because those are the teams, no one's talking about them. I mean, they're already locked in. You talk about Eagles, you talk about the Bills, the Chiefs. They're sitting at home comfortably. They know they're going to be in the playoffs. But teams like you and I, the Patriots, the Steelers, talking about the
Bucks.
the Bucks, talking about the Jaguars, you're talking about all those teams that are like 500-ish. They're the ones that these last couple of weeks you're talking about. So
Any of these 500-ish teams, or even the teams that are, like, let's say, spot 6 and 7, the Giants, for example, any of them can pull off a miracle and get to the Super Bowl, you think? I forgot where the Bengals were last year.
I think they were a wild card team.
Bengals?
Yeah. Well, maybe they won the division. I can't remember now, but I know it's. I just remember the New York Giants being a wildcard team and they defeating the Patriots. I don't think wildcard teams can do that anymore. I feel like it's very rare. I feel like at the beginning of the century, that used to happen all the time. Of course, there were less teams that play in the playoff, but because it's 500 teams, they get in and they like 1 and out, maybe 2 and out.
I would worry if I'm like the Bills, Chiefs. I would worry if Tua is healthy and he plays, because you can see what they can do when they're at full strength. They gave Bills a run for their money. So that's the team I probably wouldn't want to play. But I think to your point, I don't see like the Giants beating the Eagles or even the Cowboys and pulling off any major upsets. But Miami, I would worry about if they sneak in with like, a 9-8 record or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, they have the firepower. I don't know how good their defense is, but they definitely have the firepower with Tua. It's, to win all road games like Cincinnati did last year, where they just won road game after road game after road game, it's very rare. And I think when they got to the Super Bowl, they just ran out of gas. And it was just like, they were shell-shocked at the same time, but like, hey, you have to win a lot of road games to get to the Super Bowl. So, and that's, a neutral site. So, and we all know that no real fans go to the Super Bowl. A lot of corporate stuff, corporate people, rich people that they don't even know the game that well. They just happen to cash out the money. It's just, they need to fix that.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed.
That needs to be fixed for sure. All right, so we want to wish everyone a happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Even though it's past.
Yes, even though it's past, if I'm reading this right, it's 49 degrees. And we need to end the show as soon as possible. Yes. So in that case, I say peace.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions or comments, feel free to hit us up on Shut Your Mouth Podcast at gmail.com. That's ShutYMPodcast at gmail.com. You can also hit us on Twitter or on Instagram at SYM Podcast. Thanks again.